Catchment Combos with Thriving Southland, your link to Southland catchment groups and their impactful projects. Each episode will dive into grassroots effort by local farmers and communities that are driving change and sustainability in our regions. Listen in for inspiring stories and insight. Real people, real change, the Southland way. Welcome back to Catchment Combos, where we dive into inspiring projects, passionate people, and grassroots mahi happening across our province. Today, we're heading into the heart of central Southland with two incredible guests, Ainsley Adams and Rosie Hunter from the Mid Oreti Catchment group, to talk about the community movement that's taken root and growing stronger every year, the Mid Oreti Mini Forest Movement. It all started with a simple idea between Ainsley, Rosie and Fiona. What if locals could grow their own native plants and create small pockets of biodiversity across the catchment? Fast forward to now, the Mini Forest Movement has turned into a thriving project that's producing thousands of native plants every year, supporting schools, landholders and other community groups, helping everyday people to build skills, confidence and connection through the native plants and nature itself. In this episode, we'll hear how the idea came about, what it takes to run a community nursery, and how monthly drop-in sessions have led to workshops, school projects, and even native plant grant schemes. We'll chat about the regular faces who make it all happen, the lessons learned along the way, and some top tips for anyone keen to start growing their own natives at home. So whether you're a seasoned planter, a curious listener, or someone keen to start your own local nursery project, this one's for you. Hi, Ainsley. Hi, Rosie. Lovely to have you guys on the podcast today. How are you going?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Rach.
So starting at the beginning, Ainsley, can you paint us a picture of how did this Mid Oreti Mini Forest Movement come about?
So back in the early days, there's quite a wee group of us. So Rosie, Fiona Smith, and myself. Fiona actually come up with the idea of trying to break down some of those barriers around how do we get more plants out into the community? How do we promote more planting being done across our catchment group? And definitely some of our core values as the Mid Oreti Catchment group is to improve biodiversity and also water quality across our catchment. The idea just came about as, hey, can we grow our own trees as a catchment group and get cheaper plants and promote planting out in the community?
Cool. So if we were to break down what the Mini Forest Movement is, Rosie, could you do that for us? For those people listening and hearing about this for the first time, what is the Mini Forest Movement?
The Mini Forest Movement was started as, like Ainsley said, a project on how to grow our own trees, be able to sort of sustain plants within the catchment that the community groups and also farmers and landowners can apply for. So it's a pretty simple process for them, a simple form to fill out. And then we went through and said yes or no to projects. We had to cut some, unfortunately, and then got a bit of support around the planting advice, and then they got the plants and planted them, and we gave them a hand with planting too. So it was just trying to streamline the plantings, so it was really easy. It was very affordable. It was $1 a plant for landowners, and it was free for community groups. So a very, very cost-effective way to get some plants in our community.
100%. So how did it move from this dream of getting plants out into the community and wanting to start a nursery? How did you guys as a group turn it from this dream into an action?
Initially, we pulled on connections with a local nursery. So AB Lime has their own native tree nursery. And they were kind enough to donate us the first 1,000 plants. So that really kick-started it, because we had to start from somewhere, and that allowed us to do 5 projects of 200 trees each. We gifted half of them to community groups and schools, and then we sold the other half to landowners at $1 a tree. The reason we sold some of them to private landowners is to get some sort of revenue going, so that all of that money that was coming in from the $1 a plant was actually going back into materials to propagate more trees. So eventually the goal was to become and is to become self-sustainable and not rely on funding in the future. So the project has kept funding itself and keeps on going.
That is really cool because, like you said, it's all very well and good to get things started. It's the ongoing that's often really tricky. Like when you guys reference a project, what does a project mean or what does that entail?
I think the mini forest project is setting up a framework so we can have a sustainable planting avenue for landowners and community groups to be able to access. We have the monthly drop-in sessions that people come to and help grow and maintain the plants, which are then sold to landowners to then cover costs to grow more plants. So it's sort of self-reliant, keeps itself afloat, and is also providing a lot of ways for the community to come along and help. Like you've got to feel good of helping out with community projects, and there's so many tips and tricks shared in
Cool.
these sessions.
So that's a part of your mini forest movement is you host and run regular drop-in sessions. What happens at these sessions? Walk us through potentially a typical drop-in.
They kind of vary month to month. Last month, we ran a seed collecting workshop. So we went and collected seeds from a remnant part of native bush. We then did a couple of hours of showing how you process the seed, how it's sown, and then we had some time to pot up a few seedlings into bigger pots. So it changes every month. There's always something to be done. So sometimes we're sowing seeds, sometimes we're repotting plants into bigger bags or pots. And then sometimes we're simply doing some weeding and having a good yarn. So there's always something for anyone to come and do. Our open evenings are open to all ages. We have as young as 3 months come along and right up to, well, retired. They're really open to anybody. There's something for everyone to do or everyone to come along and learn.
Rosie, you've moved a little bit further away, but what do you take home from the monthly drop-in sessions and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I've been a little bit slack with my attendance lately. I really do want to show my appreciation for AB Lime and the AB Lime staff because they put work into it monthly. We're very, very grateful to have the AB Lime nursery as a place that the plants are held so they are watered and looked after and there's a place for them that's well maintained. From the sessions I've been to, sometimes there's 3 people, sometimes there's 6 or 10. It really depends on the day and people's availability. And it's pretty cool to see other catchment group members come along. We had people from Balfour or over the catchment because they see the value in learning. You know, it's a great way to learn whilst doing things at the same time. I've learned heaps of tips from different people through just chatting away while you're repotting things or weeding.
And that's the age-old saying, as many hands make light work. So you guys have had some cool involvement and support from other sort of parts of the catchment too, right?
Yeah, so at the moment, as of today, we put 3,680 plants in the ground across the catchment group area over the last 3 years and over 16 big projects. And there's always a few here that go here and there for small ones as well. About 2,000 of that's gone into private landowner projects. So they've gone into projects. So some people are making wetlands, sediment traps, riparian planting, plant out wet areas and critical source areas on farm. And then, yeah, schools have been absolutely great. I think every single school in our area has ended up planting plants now, which is just fantastic to see the kids really get into it. And they've done projects like planted around their pump track at Lochiel and then right through to they're creating an area where they're planting between St Thomas's School and Winton School at the moment, and then supporting Central Southland to continue planting out their little area. They've got an old pine block that they got given along the Winton Trail. A huge, diverse amount of projects, and it's just really cool to see everyone's why and why they want to do these plantings, and definitely the enthusiasm in it as well.
It is really cool, and having those schools on board is so awesome. So, have you guys started a plant pack scheme?
Yeah, actually, we've just changed things up in the last 6 months. We were $1 a plant, and we kind of put limits on the amount so that we covered lots of projects, so small amount of plants for lots of projects. And then now we've got plant packs for this year. We've gone up to $1.25, so inflation's hit us. So at the moment, we've got plants for private landowners. We've got plants, packs of 40 or 80s, and they're $50 or $100 respectively. We've done quite a few school plantings this year and community plantings already, but definitely still got some plants there if anyone in our area is thinking of doing a wee planting or community project or school planting, get in touch.
So, maintenance wise, do you help from the way of advice? It's all very well and good getting it planted, but looking after them going forward.
Yeah, Ainsley might need to clarify, but we had a lot of plant guards that we gave out with some of the initial projects, which are always helpful to stop pests and make it easy and nice and visible of where the plants are. And then advice, like I can't give enough kudos to the AP Lime guys because they're a wealth of knowledge around spraying and just making sure we can take care of the plants so they can grow quick and then don't need our help. But then they're up to the landowner to or the community group to do that themselves, but here to give advice.
Yeah, and that's really cool that you guys are just there to support where and what the community needs. But so, Ainsley, the mini forest movement is only one part of what the catchment group's up to. How does this work with the likes of your wetland and mapping projects that the catchment's got going on as well?
They kind of just work hand in hand. At the moment, we're just doing an extension project for our Marshalling the Best wetland project. So we've got Craig Simpson, who's a consultant out on farms and showing local landowners the tool. And one thing that he's really promoting to them is that, hey, if you want to plant this out, there's support there at the catchment group for trees or plants to be able to do that. So they kind of work hand in hand, the biodiversity and the water quality projects that we've been doing. We're really promoting if you want to do something using the wetland, bund and overflow, like critical source area tool, and you really want to do something in the area, we certainly have affordable plants to make that happen.
And for those listening, we talked about the Marshalling the Best project on an earlier episode, which was really cool. But you can find the link and the map all on the Thriving website under the Mid Oreti Catchment group. Furthering on, you've started to see some of your regulars grow some of their own natives at home. You've started to see people bring seeds in. What's it been like seeing people take those next steps?
I think that's really, I feel like a proud mum and dad moment, really. It's actually been when I've gone to someone's place randomly to drop something off, or I've gone for a field day there or nearby, and I've gone and driven past and I've been like, hang on a minute, you got a few little plants growing on and down in there in the grass. And they're like, oh yeah, I've just been pottering around a bit. So we've got quite a few now that grow their own plants from seed and they really enjoy it. They've been really proud to see that they're actually taking that away and enjoying it and finding this new hobby of theirs.
And building on that, Rosie, what are you most proud of from those early days and those early conversations to where the project's got to now?
I think the Mid Oreti Mini Forest project has just been so great in so many ways. People can take what they value from it. There's some schools or community groups that want plants to enhance an area. There's some people that want to come in and learn heaps more to benefit them and their nursery and probably their communities. And some people who are coming in on a monthly basis just because they really want to help a community project and they're really proud to support that. So there's just so many different ways that people can get value from it.
I think you have made it incredibly achievable and accessible for everybody. And looking forward, what's next for the mini forest movement or the Mid Oreti catchment group?
Yeah, so we're finally in a space now where we're about to become self-sufficient, so not have to rely on ongoing funding. So it's been the last 3 to 4 years we've actually had funding every year. So we've been very, very fortunate to have funding from the likes of BNZ, Westpac, Landcare Trust, AB Lime. This year we've just had a grant given from Environment Southland. We're in this weird space now where we've been going for 3 to 4 years. We've got plants that the group have potted up, planted, sown the seed, repotted them, and they've grown to a point now where they're actually being planted out in the community. So this is the first year that we've had our own plants going out. So next year, we should be in a position to keep producing the plants that we're producing now every year without having to find some funding at the start of every year to make it happen.
And hey, good things take time, right? I think those monthly drop-in sessions and your dedication has been crucial to the success of this. So for anyone listening thinking, that sounds amazing, maybe we could do something similar in our catchment, what sort of advice would you give them?
Oh, good question. Just do it. It was pretty easy to start. We were definitely very lucky that we had the AB Lime nursery to be able to help as a bit of a home base. But applying for some funding, you wouldn't need too much, like probably $1,000 would go quite a long way to be able to get you some plants to start. And then, yeah, by collecting and starting to grow your own seeds to then make into plants to sell has been a pretty good model for us. But I think the good part of it was we had plants to start with, because I guess you've got an awkward 2-year gap to grow your plants. So to be able to have money to buy some plants to get the movement moving, that was quite helpful.
And Ainsley, anything to add?
Yeah, 100% what Rosie just said. It was really cool to have the first lot of plants to get some momentum going. I guess some of the things just from doing this for the last few years was it is really handy to have the nursery home base, like Rosie said. It's really handy to have the facility there to, one, look after the plants, like watering is a big one, and just to hold them in an area, to be honest. It sounds like a really simple thing, but it's actually quite a big, if we didn't have that, we would have had to pay to put in that sort of infrastructure that AB Lime does have at the nursery. So that's definitely a saved cost if you can partner up with a nursery or get that infrastructure in early on. And keep the momentum up. So one big thing is always have the monthly sessions. Like, we can't always make them all. Sometimes I have something on and can't make it. Like, it's as long as it's still happening and it's still the, if you want to drop in and just help out, it's always on. Yeah, keep that momentum up.
Cool. And for anybody who wants to join, where would they find that information?
So if anyone wants to join along, just jump on our Facebook page. It's also advertised on Thriving's events page. First Tuesday of every month from 4 till 6 p.m. You're most welcome to come a bit earlier. You're most welcome to stay a bit later. And anybody's welcome, any ages, any level, from never planting anything in your life, even a vegetable, right through to the really seasoned in it. Feel free to come along.
And do they have to bring anything?
Nope, just themselves.
Very cool. And so maybe finishing, parting some practical wisdom, top tips for anyone if they're growing or starting a nursery at home.
I would say from having not a very successful little nursery at home that you really need to set up an automatic watering system, because I can't be trusted. So even if it's just an automatic timer, and just start small, you can get like a little tunnel house thing that's a meter, you know, those tiny ones to help seeds grow. But the key is to water them.
And Ainsley?
Definitely the watering is a major. Yeah, I can say that I forget to water mine at home too. So it's a big one. And then also definitely start off with ones that you are familiar with. So if you've got plants that you're familiar with and you know grow everywhere, like pittosporums, Carrick sector, a few little ones like that, they're the ones that you're going to have the best success with. Go with your fast 5 hardy plants, easy to grow from seed in New Zealand, and you'll start to see some real success with them straight away. And yeah, come along to a Mid Oreti session and just ask questions. If you want to grow your own natives, feel free to just come to 1 session or 2 sessions and ask all questions you like. We're more than willing to share all that information.
So cool. Amazing work, ladies. And the mini forest movement is something that all of Southland can be involved in. And I know you guys have had cross-catchment engagement, and it would be so cool to see this replicated across the province and if not further. But thank you for your time, and we hope you see some extra people at your next drop-in session. And I look forward to joining you guys one day when I make it out there too. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
And that's a wrap for another episode of Catchment Combos, brought to you by Thriving Southland. A big thanks to our guests for being a part of the conversation on today's episode, and for you guys for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcast from, so you can stay up to date with all the latest episodes as they're released. For more information on this episode, check out the show notes or head to the Thriving Southland website, where you can also learn more about the awesome work happening across the catchment groups here in Southland. And if you've got a project or an idea you want to share, don't be shy, reach out. So until next time, keep up the good work out there on the land, and as always, stay connected and keep driving those changes for a thriving Southland.